Shalom, Israel. This message is brought to you through the power of Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai Mashiach. Barakatah Yasharala, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. I hope y'all having a wonderful day today so far. Today, I was going to go over the prophet Elijah. And just for more ammunition, for y'all to, talk about, the scriptures and stuff like that, learn and being edified, you know. Yeah, that's what we're going to talk about today. And, as usual, man, once I get edified about something, I'm bringing it to y'all right away. So, definitely we're going to get into this today. And we're going to talk about the prophet Elijah. If just in case if anybody was wondering, and let's go ahead and get into it. Let's go ahead and start in 1 Kings 17 and 1. 1 Kings 17 and 1. And I do want to tell y'all, Elijah was the first prophet, back in them days. He was the first prophet. And we're going to read about him today. 1 Kings 17 and 1. And Elijah, the Tishbite, who was of the inhabitants of Gilead, said unto Ahab, as the Lord, the power of Israel liveth, before whom I stand, there shall not be dew nor rain these years, but according to my word. Right? And the word of the Lord came unto him, saying, Get thee hence, and turn thee eastward, and hide thyself by the brook Chariot that is before Jordan. Okay? So, Elijah, he actually wasn't put to death, He wasn't put to death in the time that he was walking the earth the first time, one of the first prophets. He wasn't put to death, and I'm going to tell you why. Let's go ahead and go to, before that, let's go ahead and go to 2 Kings. Second Kings chapter 2, starting in verse 11. And it came to pass, as they still went on and talked, that behold, there appeared a chariot of fire and horses of fire, and parted them both asunder. And Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven. So the Father took Elijah, up in a whirlwind up to heaven. He took him in a chariot, so he wasn't able to die then. He took him up in a chariot, so he didn't die back then. Let's read that one more time. 2 Kings chapter 2, verse 11. And it came to pass, as they still went on and talked, that behold, there appeared a chariot of fire and the horses of fire, and parted them both asunder. And Elijah went up by the whirlwind into heaven. So let's read verse 12 too. Let's read verse 12 too. Okay. So, and it says, in Elisha, Slot. I don't know how to pronounce that right. I think it's Elisha. Yeah, Elisha. They were both good friends, and they were both together and he saw this, or I think it was no, yeah, he saw this, and this is what it says. Elisha saw it, and he cried, right? By father, my father, my father, the chariot of Israel and the horsemen thereof, and he saw him no more. And he took hold of his own clothes and rent them into two pieces. Rent means to tear. So he was hurt, man, because he didn't see Elijah, but Elijah was taken up by that chariot by the Most High. He didn't see death back then, man. You know, and he was the first prophet. He started the line of prophets. And, the reason is to this because the Most High couldn't kill him. He took him up in a chariot because he would have killed him. If he would have had killed him, it would kill the line of prophets too. So he had to leave him alive, right? And I'm gonna name off the line of prophets too, because this is something unbeknownst to me that I didn't know, until my teacher, brother Matthias, he taught me this, and now I'm delivering it to y'all. But these are the line of the prophets. Started off with Elijah, right, and then it was Ezra, Nehemiah, Job, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, Daniel, Hosea, Amos, Obadiah, Jonah, Joel, and Malachi, right? So, yeah, so he had to leave him alone for them line of prophets to flourish. So, let's go ahead and go to Malachi 4. Yeah, Malachi chapter 4. And we're going to start in verse 4. Remember ye the laws of Moses, my servant, which I had commanded unto him in Horeb for all Israel, with the status and the judgments. Behold, I will send Elijah, the prophet, before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord. Right? He says he's going to send him again. He was going to send Elijah, the prophet, before the great and dreadful day of the Lord. Verse 6, and he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children, and the heart of the children to their fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse. So the line of prophets was fulfilled, it was finished, but Elijah, he was the first prophet, and he was taken up in a whirlwind in a chariot. He never saw death, and that was for a reason. It was for a good reason. Just think about it. Slot. So, just think about it. It started with Elijah, and it has to end with Elijah, right? And Elijah wasn't put to death, so the age of prophets could continue. Elijah didn't die. He didn't slot. Hold on. Elijah didn't die, so he can encourage the prophets, to continue to do what they doing. Because if they knew Elijah he died, they probably wouldn't want to continue down the list, man. They would be worried about other things like death and stuff like that. So it had to be that way, so they would continue and be encouraged to deliver this message and deliver the prophecy, right? So, hold on, y'all. And I'm gonna show you how it had to end with Elijah too. And if you don't understand reincarnation, you gotta understand that the reincarnation is real. The Father, it's real. It's in the Bible. It's written. It's real. Simple, plain point. Period. And this is another Another incident where reincarnation was mentioned in the scriptures. So, like I said, Elijah never died, right? But everybody dies, man. You know, through the power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah, man. He said, sin, Salat. He said, death, sin is punishable by death. Everybody has to die, so it would make the Most High a liar if Elijah didn't die, right? But he did though, because let's go ahead and go to let's go ahead and go to Matthew 11, starting in verse 1. And it came to pass, when Yahushua had made an end of commanding his 12 disciples, he departed thence to teach and to preach in their cities. Listen up, y'all. Verse 2. Now when John the Baptist, had heard in the prison the works of Hamashiach, he sent two of his disciples and said unto them, Art thou he that should come, or do we look for another? John the Baptist said that because, he was stuck in prison and Yahweh Shai wouldn't come and get him. He was like, man, is he the one, or should we look for another? So let's continue. So actually, John the Baptist was put to death, let me just read this first. Let's start verse 2 again. Now when John had heard in the prison the works of Hamashiach, he sent two of his disciples and said unto him, Art thou he that should come, or do we look for another? Yahweh Shai answered. Listen what Yahweh Shai said. Yahweh Shai answered and said unto them, he told the disciples of to go tell John the Baptist, Go and shew John again those things which ye do hear and see. The blind receive their sight, and the lame walk. The lepers are cleansed, and the deaf hear. The dead are raised up, and the poor have the gospel preached to them. And blessed is he whosoever shall not be offended in me. Right? And as that thy depart, Yahushua began to say unto the multitudes concerning John, What went ye out into the wilderness to see? A reed shaken with the wind? But what went ye out to see? A man clothed in soft raiment? Behold, they that wear soft clothing are in kings' houses. But what went ye out to see? A prophet? I say unto you, and more than a prophet, for this is he of whom it is written, Behold, I send a messenger before thy face, which shall prepare thy way before thee. Verily I say unto you, among them that are born of women, there have not risen a greater than John the Baptist, right? There wasn't risen greater than John the Baptist because he was Elijah. That was That was Elijah reincarnated. He was the first of the prophets. Why would he say that? Because Elijah was the first of the prophets. Shouldn't he get the props of being the because he was the first? Watch this. And from the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffer violence, and the violent take it by force. For all the prophets and the law prophesied unto John, and if he will receive it, this is Elias, which was for to come. Now, Elias in the scriptures is saying it's Elijah, right? Because they said Elijah was for to come, right? That he is John the Baptist. He showed up then. You know, they prophesied that Elijah would show up in the last days before the day of the Lord, and he did, right? But remember, y'all remember, Elijah never seen death. He was taken up in a whirlwind, so he had to die, or it will make the Most High a liar. You know, everybody dies, right? So he had to die. You know, and so actually, so you know, yeah. So Yahweh Shai, he knew that John was Elijah reincarnated, right? So he knew he had to take his L. He knew he had to take his death. So he left him alone in that prison to die, man. And John the Baptist, he was put to death and thrown in a prison because he kept condemning a King Herod, because he was sleeping with another man's wife, I believe. Salat, correct me if I'm wrong. So you couldn't do that, you know, and he was thrown in a prison, man, to die, man, you know. And Yahweh Shai didn't do nothing because he knew that was Elijah reincarnated. He knew Elijah never died. He knew Elijah had to die, you know, or that would make the father a liar, man. He says every man is punishable. The sin is punishable by death, and we all sin, right? You know, you know, he had to die too, man, and he did, as John the Baptist. That's why I said, let's go, let's go. I think it was Malachi. Let's go back to Malachi real quick. Malachi 4:6. Actually, yeah, so Malachi 4:5. And look what it said. Behold, I will send you Elijah, the prophet, before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord. He did send him. He sent him as John the Baptist. That's why Yahweh Shah said, look, I'm going to read this again. Behold, I will send you Elijah, the prophet, before the coming of the great day, dreadful day of the Lord. Right? He did send him. You know? That's why Yahweh Shah said in Matthew 11, Matthew 11 and 13, Matthew chapter 11 and 13, this is why Yahweh Shah said this. For all the prophets in the law prophesied, Salat. Yeah, Matthew 11 and 13. For all the prophets in the law prophesied unto John, and if he will receive it, this is Elias, which is Elijah, which was for to come. You know, because the Father said that Elijah would come for the dreadful day of the Lord, and that's what Yahweh just said. It's John the Baptist, man. That's who John the Baptist was. He was Elijah, you know, just like Yahweh Shah. He was King Solomon, and he was Adam too, man. You know, reincarnation is real, and it's proven through the scriptures. Let's go to Luke 13 and 16. Luke 13 and 16. Slot. Slot, y'all. Sorry. Luke 16 and 13. Luke 16 and 13. And it says, yeah, no servant can serve two masters, for either he shall hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and mammon. Verse 14. And the Pharisees also, who were covetous heard all these things, and they derided him. Verse 15. And he said unto them, Ye are they which justify yourselves before men, but the Most High knoweth your hearts, for that which is slightly esteemed among men is abomination in the sight of the Most High. Right? The law and the prophets were until John. Right? John was the last one, man. It started with Elijah. It had to end with Elijah. John the Baptist was the last one. That's why it says this, verse 16. The law and the prophets were until John, man. That all that stuff was fulfilled. Yahweh Shah brought in the law of liberty. Since that time, the kingdom of the Most High is preached, and every man presseth into it. Simple, y'all. Precept upon precept. You got to get precepts. Verse 16 again. The law and the prophets were until John. They were until John, right? John the Baptist, which was Elijah. So it started with Elijah and ended with Elijah. Because remember, Elijah never faced death. He was taken up in a whirlwind. So he had to come back down as John the Baptist, which he didn't know. You know, that's why he's like, dang, you know, why Yahweh Shah leave me in here? Yahweh Shah already knew. He already knew who John the Baptist was. John the Baptist didn't know who he was in his past life because we don't remember who we are in our past life. Right? You know? So he had to die, man. And you know, he got his head cut off, man. Look. I think this will be, hold on. I'm going to get to it, though. Let's go to Romans 10 and 4, though. Romans 10 and 4. For Hamashiach is the end of the law for righteousness to everyone that believeth. He is the end of the law. Just told y'all, Yahweh Shah is the end of the law. Everything was fulfilled with the prophets, man. And Yahweh Shah, man. And what he brought in the law of liberty. Everything after him, everything born after him was in the law of liberty. Israel, man. Israel, right? Look, let's read it again. Romans 10 and 4. For Hamashiach is the end of the law for righteousness to everyone that believeth. You know, the prophets was fulfilled after John. It's it. They died with John. And also the law of Moses died with Yahweh Shah, man. And he brought in the law of liberty. He rose on the third day, man. He's eternal. He's forever. So he's a king and he's a high priest, man. So that law of liberty stands forever, man. You know, you gotta get precepts. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and go to Jeremiah. Yeah, let's go ahead and go to Jeremiah 17 and 4. I don't believe, no, actually, yeah. Jeremiah 17 and 4. And thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from the heritage that I gave thee. See, this is how you know that reincarnation is real, man. He was telling, I believe in this scripture, he was talking to Jeremiah, I believe. But look at this. Ecclesiastes 17 and 4. And now, even thyself, shall discontinue from thy heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. How did that happen when Jeremiah was alive? He didn't do that when he was alive, right? He didn't, you know? But it says in the scriptures right here, listen, let's read it again. This is how y'all know reincarnation is real. What land he's talking about? How is he going to serve his enemies? All the prophets back then are now, man. They're here in this captivity. They're in this captivity serving their enemies. But thankfully, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah, we starting to wake up now. Whoever man of the Lord accepted Yahweh Shah back then, they woken up now. That's how y'all know reincarnation is real. It says it throughout the scriptures, man. It's repetitive. You just gotta study it and get precepts, man. Let's read Jeremiah 17:4. And thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from thy heritage. He didn't get to discontinue from his heritage back then. You know, he died as one of the prophets, man. Look, and thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from thine heritage that I giveth thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in my anger, which shall burn forever. Okay. Slide. Hold on just 1 second, y'all. So yeah, he was talking to Jeremiah, man. Right? So he's talking about it now, man. You know, we're incarnated in this time and age, serving out the punishments, man. But thankfully we waking up now and we coming out of these curses and this captivity. Even they have to serve out, man. You know, one fall, we all fall. But the ones that accept Yahweh Shai, man, we ain't gonna have to go through that hell or the second death that's coming to these heathens in these 2/3, man. We're not gonna have to face that. We're gonna be called great in the kingdom of heaven. They're gonna be called least in the kingdom of heaven, man. So let's go ahead and let's actually go to let's go ahead and go to Daniel. Yeah, let's go to Daniel 12:12. Yeah, Daniel 12:12. And it reads, blessed is he that waiteth and cometh to the 1,305 and 30 days. You know, let's read it again. Blessed is he that waiteth and cometh to the 1,305 and 30 days. But go thou thy way to the end, be, for thou shalt rest and stand in thy lot at the end days. Let me read that again slowly, y'all. Starting in verse 12, Daniel 12:13. Blessed is he that waiteth. Waiteth until now, man. Till salvation, till Yahweh Shah get back, till we waking up. Just listen though, y'all. And cometh to the 1,305 and 30 days. But look, listen to verse 13. Real good, y'all. Here's me. But go thou way till the end be. End is now. Last days. Why would he say that? If reincarnation wasn't real, he knew that he knew that all the prophets was gonna be in nowadays, and anybody else, you know, he knew this, you know. For thou shalt rest, right, and stand in the end in the thy lot at the end of the days. Thou shalt rest. He knew he was gonna die and wake up in this time, be reincarnated in this time. Rest is to die. So he said we're going to die and wake up in this captivity, man. Listen, verse 13, but go thou thy way to the end be, right? For thou shalt rest, die, and stand in thy lot at the end of the days. We're standing in our lots now, man. We died and we woke up to this captivity, you know, but now we're starting to wake up. That's why it says in verse 12, blessed is he that waiteth, because we waking up now. We died, which is rest, thou shalt rest, and stand in our lot at the end of the days. This is our lot, this is the end of the days. We woke up to this captivity, but we're blessed because we waited. We wait. You know, we woken up now. We're starting to wake up now, right? All the prophets are here, man. They gotta serve out the punishments too, man. The Most High don't miss nobody. He don't miss nobody, man. You know, he's getting the uttermost farthering out of us. But our captivity is slowly coming unraveled, man. You know, it's slowly coming unraveled. Let's go ahead and jump to 1 Corinthians 14, and let's go to verse. Let's start in verse 30. If anything be revealed to one another that sitteth by, let the first hold his peace. For ye may all prophesy one by one, that all may learn and all may be confronted. And the spirits of the prophets are subjected to the prophets, right? Let's read that again. Let's start in verse 30. If anything be revealed, right, to one another that sitteth by, let the first hold his peace. For ye may all prophesy one by one, that all may learn, and all may be comfort. Right? They all prophesied about this time, man, and that we was all gonna be woken up too. Listen, verse 32. And the spirits of the prophets are subjected to the prophets. Right? Let's go ahead and cap it off with Ecclesiastics. Now let's go ahead and go to Luke 9 and 34. Luke 9 and 34. While he thus spake, there came a cloud and overshadowed them, and they feared as they entered into the cloud. That's a chariot. Verse 35. And there came a voice out of the cloud saying, listen up. This is my beloved son. Hear him. Who's he talking about? Yahweh Shai, man. So that shows you, man, that clarifies, man, all what the prophets, man, slot. The law of Moses is done away with. All that was fulfilled. Verse 35. And there came a voice out of the cloud saying, this is my beloved son, hear him. Verse 36. And when the voices was past, Yahweh Shai was found alone, and kept it close, and told no man in those days any of those things which they had seen, man. That's showing y'all that Yahweh Shai, he stood alone, man. No prophets beside him or apostles, man. And through him we get salvation. But these Pharisees don't understand that, The line of prophets was ended with John the Baptist, which was Elijah. Let's go ahead and go to Ecclesiastics. Ecclesiastics 3 and 15. And this is just icing on the cake, man. About reincarnation, man. And about John the Baptist and Elijah. Listen up. Ecclesiastes 3 and 15. That which have been is now. That which have been in the past is now. Reincarnation. And that which to be had already been. Right? And God required what that which is past. He required what Elijah, he required his past, man. He didn't die, so he had to come back as John the Baptist and die, man. John the Baptist, he was confused. He didn't know who he was in his past life, just like none of us know unless the Lord put it on us, on our spirit to know, right? He required what is past. Let's go ahead and cap it off with Matthew 8 and 13. Matthew 8 and 13. And Yahweh Shai said unto the centurion, go thy way, and that thou hast believed, so be it done unto thee. And his servant was healed in the self-made hour. Right? That was just a nugget for y'all, man. Yahweh Shai was able to heal people, man. Prophets was able to prophesize. And that's another thing I want to lead to this is that we, us men of the Lord, we're going to be able to do that in this time and age, man. But moral of the story, main point of the story, that John the Baptist was reincarnated. Elijah was reincarnated as John the Baptist, man. You know, it's proven through the scriptures. You know, the scriptures talks about reincarnation. Um, yeah, it's concrete. We're waking up in this time and age, and we about to get out of here, man. Just keep on praying, y'all, and keep steadfast. But that's really all I wanted to tell y'all. It's something to keep y'all going. You know, it's edification, man. On top of edification, man. You know, once I learn something, I come and bring it to y'all. So yeah, I want to give all praises to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah Hamashiach, Barakatah Yasharala. Until the next video coming to y'all, quickly prepare. I'm out.